Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Lauren, and I am the Mirror Hero. And what is a Mirror Hero, you ask? A Mirror Hero is somebody who rescues himself each and every night and shows up for themselves and has their own back each and every morning. Always with the thought in the back of their mind that the hero that they've been searching for to rescue themselves and to solve all their problems is actually just on the other side of their reflection. So welcome, because this is also and always a huge shout out to all of the Mirror Heroes out there in the world. Just want to say good morning, and I love you. So today I wanted to start off the conversation with a little bit of a funny thought that I had last night. And I wanted to talk about just how important self-care rituals are for everyone. And I'm talking all walks of life. If you are young, if you are old, if you're a man, if you're a woman, they're so important for so many reasons. But I'd also like to give a huge shout out, and this is where I chuckled a little bit, but I want to give a shout out to the OG Mirror Hero. And it may come as a surprise, but while this Mirror Hero didn't exactly talk to the mirror, he did talk to the camera and he talked to the world. And funny enough, his messages were incredibly universal. It didn't matter who was on the other side of that camera lens. And he always began his day with the same routine, right? Of course, I'm talking about Mr. Rogers. I used to watch Mr. Rogers every single morning as a kid. And of course, he would start his day. He'd enter his home. He'd go to his closet. He'd take out his cardigan. And he would then sit on his steps and change his shoes. And he was ready to start the day. And even to this day, I get this feeling that these routines that Mr. Rogers had, that he began every morning with, I just felt like they served him in the same way that my morning skincare routines serve me. Because it's just a matter of perspective, right? We're both achieving the same results. And really what it comes down to is having faith in the process. And whether you call it a routine or a ritual or a regimen, but it's about finding solace in the consistency. And it brings people, I think, a lot of comfort. And at least I know it does for me. I guess I can only speak for myself. So as a tribute to Mr. Rogers this morning, I'm going to do my morning skincare routine a little more thoughtfully, a little more mindfully. So I'm going to grab my bathrobe, I'm going to put on my little headband, I'm going to do my hot towel, and I'm going to grab my cup of coffee. Because what ultimately it achieves is making us feel good, ready to start the day, preparing us for the morning ahead. And that's what's most important. I'm going to get my Rocky robe this time. I absolutely love it. It is so comfortable, but got to tie it real tight. I got my little headband. Okay. All right. Oh, I need my coffee. Okay. Now we can get to work. Okay. So first and foremost, I get my towel and I get my little washcloth. I just wet it. I wrung it out real quick. And then I roll it up and I put it in my little steamer baby. And it turns out it takes me exactly the same amount of time for the towel to heat up as it does to brush my teeth. So while I'm brushing my teeth, we will let this baby steam. Okay. We'll fast forward through this.
Hi everyone! Welcome back to our channel. My name is Winnie and I'm the Mini Mirror Hero. We wanted to let you know that everything my mom talks about today will be included in the description box below with our tiddlywinks. Oh wait, not tiddlywinks. Affiliate links. Yes. Which means that if you use those links below to make a purchase at no cost to you, it would really help us to support our channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!
Okay. And our steamer is ready. Bing!
Jules?
can't forget your trusty tongs. In this case, they are my metal chopsticks that I bought off of Amazon. I can include the link down below. But it just works so well because I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little loop on this washcloth and it just fits so perfectly in. And so it prevents me from scalding my hands. And it's just awesome. But I gotta wave it out a little bit. Otherwise, it gets a little too intense. All right. This is amazing because it takes off all the skincare that I've layered on from the night before, and it just refreshes me, it resets me, and now I'm ready. Let's get started. Ooh, okay, I'm better now. So every morning I put on eye patches, and I just finished with my little jar of True Botanicals. So before my next round gets here, I am trying from... It's this New York City-based skincare company called Super Egg. They have their Calm Moments eye and cheek mask. So these are like the Hulk of eye masks. And I thought it would be kind of cool to try it. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, look how big these suckers are. Okay, we're going to do it. I'm going in. Okay. Wow. Whoever this was made for has like very big cheeks. This is a full-on face mask. Okay. But back to Mr. Rogers. If he were to give aging advice, what do I think he would say? I actually do think that he would say something along the lines of, sorry, my eyeball is falling. Aging is a gift, right? Aging is a gift. There's a special type of freedom that comes with experiencing so much, right? I mean, just the fact that we know deep down, right, when we tell our reflection that everything will work out in the end, because we know that it does. It's going to take a few more face masks, but everything always works out in the end, you know? And it's our goal to set ourselves up for success each and every morning. So I'm going to let these sit and marinate on my face. And I am going to make myself a little breakfast and I will meet you back here. By the way, these cheeky things need to be on for about 20 minutes. And in the interim, I'm going to make myself a little breakfast, probably some more coffee. I'll maybe walk Winnie. I don't know. I'm not looking too crazy today, but I will meet you back here and we can do a little more skincare. All right. See you soon. And we're back. So I'm going to take these little cheeky things off. And we'll start our skincare routine. Okay, so first and foremost, huge fan of this Balm Amour by Violette FR. And, you know, you just gotta give yourself a little hydration because my lips got a little bit parched waiting for that face mask to finish. So first and foremost, you gotta go in with the lip balm. Then I'm gonna go in with, I always go in every morning, night with some kind of hydrating essence or a toner. And so this is from Haru Haru, and it's really lightweight, but just sinks into your skin almost instantly. You feel just so much better. It's one of those hero products from Haru Haru that has stood the test of time, and I just love it. PSA announcement, if you have extra product on your hands, always rub the rest out with your hands because your hands also show signs of aging. And so if you can get a little extra product, a little extra hydration, I say do it. Then, of course, part of the holy trinity of anti-aging, you need your vitamin C. This is from Allies of Skin. It's a waterless vitamin C. So I feel like it really helps me with my hyperpigmentation, discoloration, especially around my cheeks and my nose. And so I try to really work that in. But do my hands real quick, give that a moment to just sink in before I go in with the next product. And the next one is also from Allies of Skin. Wow, they're coming out with some real bangers. And this is the copper tripeptide anectoin serum. So just gonna put that on real quick. And then you always want an eye cream, but this is the vitamin-enriched eye base from Bobbi Brown. And so I just take like a little baby fingernail of it. And because I think it also serves as a type primer, you know, for the under eyes, it is so lovely when you're applying makeup, you know, afterwards because it never pills or anything. And last but not least, I am a huge fan of Korean sunscreen. And so I tend to buy in bulk and I try all different products along the way. But this is the Round Lab Camellia Deep Collagen Firming Sun Serum. And okay, fine, I gravitated toward the pink bottle, but it is, I want to say, more serum-y than a lot of the other skincare. As you can see, it's like dripping down, my hand, but always do 2 finger lengths. And regardless of the season, always use sunscreen. And because this is so elegant and so lightweight, you just don't mind because it also tends to double as my moisturizer. It just works so well. Always get your ears because that's where the sun hits, right here, your nose, of course, and then the back of your neck if you have short hair like me. And then you can always put it on your hands because your hands need sun protection too. And even though, you put on sunscreen, you also have to remember to wait about 10 minutes before you start putting on your makeup because this needs to be able to sink in. If you start applying makeup right away, it's just going to move that product around and it's going to lose its efficacy. So, just give it about 10 minutes, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a little bit more coffee and then I'm going to get changed and I'll meet you back here. But I actually also got a little bit more of a chuckle. So this is my mug that I got at a crafts fair at the Christmas market last year. But so on the front, everything's fine. Everything's fine. And then on the inside, and I think that kind of sums up our Mr. Rogers lesson today. Little bit of a twist, but I think even he had bad days. And I'm not as eloquent as he is. But all right, I'll meet you right back here. See you in 10. Hi, everyone. Okay, we're back. I just want to appreciate my attempt at finding a Mr. Rogers themed sweater. I did not have a cardigan, but I don't know. I was really feeling this. Maybe it's the blue. But either way, so as we finish up, I just want to make mention of one thing. As I got dressed, I did put on a bit of perfume, and this is the Matière Première French Flower. And I'm typically not drawn to super florally fragrances, but this one, it just has a light floral powdery kind of scent to it. And I really love it. I feel like it's the perfect work perfume that's not aggressive, but it just smells lovely and it smells fresh. So that was for today. Then we're going to go in with our primer, and it's the Cell Rejuvenating Illuminator from Victoria Beckham. And I just used that all over my face. It just kind of evens out my skin, gives me a little bit of a glow, underneath whatever foundation I choose to use. And this is in the shade Rosa Rose. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it depending on how bougie you want to be, but it is a partnership with Augustinus Bader. So he has his proprietary TFC8 skincare infused into this primer. But then I'm actually just going to play it really easy today because I feel like if we're going full on Mr. Rogers vibes, then I don't think this calls for a super heavy day of makeup. So just for my foundation, I'm going to use Chantecaille's Future Skin Foundation, and I am in shade Vanilla, but you don't have to use a lot. It's a water-based foundation, so it's super light, and it also has some really lovely, skincare products infused into it, so it'll always make you feel good. And I know this looks a little weird, but I promise you this all works out in the end, as Mr. Rogers would say, right? So I'm just gonna, and this is the Chantecaille brush that they recommended, so it goes on very smooth. Okay, and then I like to put on my eyebrows because I have very wispy eyebrows. So, like, almost don't look. So I use the RMS Beauty Back to Brow eyebrow product. Now, most makeup that I have, I'll always give myself, a choice between, 3 or 4 options, but not my brow product. This is my tried and true. This is my ride or die. And when I say that, I am not kidding. I'm so embarrassed to show you, but when I say this is such a well-loved product, I mean, look at this. It's terrible. Like, hide your eyes. But it's so good. And because I have such wispy, tiny little brows, what I do is I go in with their back to brow brush and I backfill my brows so that way it gives me such a natural brow, but obviously it helps me quite a bit, because I don't want to go in too crazy. I just want a natural look, but if you notice, it just gives me a little bit. This is what I naturally have, and then this is just like a nice brow look, nice and clean and light, and I'll fill that in. Also, I do want to mention, so this is the only brush that I have that's dual-ended, and I am not an aficionado by any means when it comes to makeup. So these dual-ended brushes have caused me such pain and anxiety, I can't even tell you. So I went to, I don't know if I was at a Sephora or a department store, and, I have a lot of brushes, but I have specifically chosen them because, they're only one-ended brushes. But this, I really didn't have a choice, but I knew I needed this brush. So I was asking all of the makeup artists that were working that day, and I was like, how do you store a dual-ended makeup brush without it getting too gross and getting makeup everywhere? And no one could give me an answer. They were like, well, just lie it flat somewhere. So I took matters into my own hands and I went and I bought these little chopstick holders. Now, these ones are in the shape of like a little dog, but I have two, and I don't know if I can do this for you, but I lay them on my bathroom counter and I literally rest my one little dual-ended brush right on top. So if anyone has been struggling like I have to figure out how to store your dual-ended brushes, let me tell you, my friend, I have cracked the code. So there you have it. And next, we're going to go in with a little teeny-weeny beauty blender. And this is Victoria Beckham, also a partnership with Augustin Esbader, with his proprietary TFC8. So I am very lucky. I don't need too much concealer. I don't need a full coverage, but I do need a little bit of help. So I just go in really light, and then I also use it underneath my eyes. Now, I don't know if that's a faux pas or what. And then also I put it in just in that little crevice, of the eye, because that tends to get pretty dark on me. And then, pro tip, I take my little beauty blender and I run it under the faucet just for a second. I squeeze out the water with usually whatever towel I have, just so it's a teeny bit damp. And then I go in and press my concealer into my skin. And I have just found that it leaves such a smooth finish that I never got with using just a dry beauty blender or my finger. So I'm just gonna do my other side. And then I think today, typically I'll go in with a powder bronzer, but I think today I'm just gonna use the Violette FR. She has in the shade Marnie, it's her Bisou blush. And even though she considers it a blush, look at the shade Marnie. To me, that's a bronzer, which I love. So I actually take an eye brush. I feel like this is very scandalous, but I just create a little bit of depth on my nose, and then I go in with this eye brush and I put it on top, and I'm going to use that as my eyeshadow today, just because I want it to be simple and natural today. Boom. There we go. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of powder. I use the Sicily loose powder, and it comes with a little poof, but I can't be trusted with a poof. Way too dangerous. So I just kind of like shake up a little bit, to get into the top. And I just put it mostly in my T-zone. And that's it. Today was a pretty simple day, but I feel like Mr. Rogers would have wanted it that way. Then I feel like I was so late to the party, but my mascara that I'm using is the Dior Show, but it's in a brown shade. And I have been loving this. It goes on really well, but I've been a ride or die with Dior Show for probably since junior high. This is not my one from junior high, but I've been repurchasing for probably that long. And I just do a quick little flick just on the outer corners of my lashes. So that way it gives me a little wing. But like I said, nothing too crazy. I just want a very natural look. Again, I live in San Francisco, so makeup is really not a thing. Everything is quite luxury and low pro makeup. So I'm trying to play by the rules here. So we have that, and then we're going to go in with my setting spray. Okay, tuck in the lips. One last thing before we go, you always need a good lip. So because I want to go natural today, I'm using a Gucci lip balm in Esther Rosewood. So we're just going to just give a nice base. And we're good to go. I want everybody to have an incredible, amazing, wonderful day. Thank you so much for spending your morning here with me as we got ready together. And to all my mirror heroes out there in the world who rescue themselves every morning on the daily, I just want to say, have a beautiful day. Bye.
Have a great day, Mirror Heroes. Thank you so much. Bye.